Australian researchers have uncovered extraordinary new information about one of the world's ancient wonders. Britain's Stonehenge is around 5,000 years old.
Stonehenge stands on the plains of Wiltshire, silent and immovable, yet endlessly studied. Built nearly 5,000 years ago during the late Neolithic period, it has long been described as a ceremonial site, a calendar, or a monument to ancient unity. These explanations are familiar, comforting, and simple. They allow Stonehenge to feel distant, impressive, but harmless. But when modern artificial intelligence was applied to Stonehenge, not to speculate, but to process vast amounts of physical data, the picture changed. What emerged was not a story of symbolism or celebration, but one of precision, engineering, and control. The monument stopped looking like an expression of belief and started looking like an application of knowledge. The stones were not placed casually, they were not chosen for convenience, and they were not arranged only to mark the passing of time. The structure that remains today points to something far more deliberate, a space designed to do something to the people inside it. The stones were never meant to be local. For generations, scholars debated how Stonehenge's stones arrived at the site. Some argued that glaciers moved them. Others believed humans dragged them across land. That debate ends once geology enters the picture. The smaller blue stones were confirmed to originate in Wales, as many had suspected. But the altar stone told a different story. Its mineral composition did not match any known quarry in Wales or southern England. When its elemental fingerprint was compared across Britain, the closest match appeared hundreds of miles away in northeastern Scotland, in the ancient Orcadian Basin. This meant one thing. Neolithic builders deliberately transported multi-ton stones across enormous distances. Not accidentally, not symbolically, intentionally. The effort required was extreme, suggesting that whatever Stonehenge was meant to become, it was important enough to justify years, perhaps decades, of coordinated labor. Stone choice was about function, not meaning. The stones at Stonehenge were not interchangeable. Each came from a different region, each carrying distinct physical properties. When their magnetic behavior, mineral composition, and acoustic response were modeled together, a consistent pattern appeared. These stones interacted with one another in specific ways. Their properties aligned too precisely to be a coincidence. This was not a random selection. It was component selection. Some stones absorbed vibration, others reflected it. Some responded more strongly to pressure or resonance. When arranged together, they behaved less like isolated objects and more like parts of a coordinated whole. Remove or replace one element, and the system would change. Stonehenge was not built like a monument. It was assembled like a system. The builders understood how certain materials behaved in relation to the earth, to sound, and to space. Their choices suggest a working knowledge of physical principles that modern science only formalized much later. This was practical understanding, earned through observation and experimentation over generations. Stonehenge reflects accumulated knowledge, not guesswork. An invisible force people could feel. For centuries, visitors have reported strange sensations inside Stonehenge. A sense of pressure, a low vibration, a feeling of unease or awe. These experiences were often dismissed as imagination. They shouldn't have been. The arrangement of the stones creates interactions that affect the environment inside the circle. Not visually, but physically. The structure alters sound and vibration in ways that the human body perceives without conscious hearing. These effects do not announce themselves as noise. They register as mood, as tension, as heightened awareness. People feel smaller, more attentive, more emotionally exposed, even when nothing outward appears to be happening. Under the right conditions, this environment could heighten emotion, intensify fear, and reinforce submission. It could make ordinary gatherings feel overwhelming, sacred, unavoidable. The space itself would guide how people felt and behaved. This was not superstition. It was engineering. The altar stone changed everything. In 2024, high-precision analysis of mineral grains trapped inside the altar stone revealed something extraordinary. Some of its minerals dated back over 1 billion years, while others formed hundreds of millions of years later. This rare combination matched only one geological region on Earth: Scotland's Old Red Sandstone. This discovery reframed the scale of the project instantly. Stonehenge was no longer regional, it was national. Its builders were not working within local boundaries, but drawing materials from across Britain. Moving a 6-ton block from Scotland to southern England by land would have been nearly impossible. The only plausible route was by sea, That means Neolithic engineers used boats, tides, and navigation skills to guide massive stones along hundreds of kilometers of rugged coastline. This was not a primitive trial and error. It was organized transport on a continental scale, requiring planning, coordination, and shared technical knowledge passed down with precision. Every successful journey implied rehearsal, leadership, and trust in a complex system. And the altar stone was not alone. Stones from Wales, Marlborough, and Scotland were all brought together, each selected for specific qualities, each contributing something different to the structure as a whole. Stonehenge was built to control sound. When a full-scale acoustic recreation of Stonehenge was tested using a precise model, the results were unmistakable. Inside the circle, sound behaved differently. Voices became fuller. Music intensified. A soft reverberation lingered just long enough to enhance speech without creating echoes. Outside the circle, the effect vanished almost instantly. This created a boundary not of walls, but of experience. Crossing into the circle meant entering a different sensory world, one that subtly reshaped attention and perception. In a Neolithic world where sound usually dispersed into open landscapes or forests, this space would have felt unnatural, powerful, transformative. Speech carried authority, rhythm carried weight. Silence itself felt charged, heavy with expectation. Some of the stones themselves ring when struck, producing metallic tones. Their arrangement also generates low-frequency vibrations, below the level of conscious hearing that the body still responds to. These frequencies bypass rational thought and register directly as sensation. Stonehenge did not just carry sound, it shaped it. A target in the sky no one talks about. Stonehenge is famous for its solar alignments, but those were not the only ones. They may not even have been the most important. When the placement of the stones was compared to reconstructed skies from 5,000 years ago, another alignment appeared, one that did not track the sun or the moon. It pointed instead toward a mathematically precise but visually empty region of the sky. This alignment was deliberate. Its accuracy could not be explained by chance. It required long-term observation and careful measurement across generations. When combined with the structure's acoustic behavior, the geometry no longer resembled a ceremonial circle. It resembled a device, one designed to respond to timing rather than symbolism. Whatever Stonehenge was built for, it was meant to activate at specific moments. This was not a peaceful community project. Building Stonehenge required tens of thousands of labor hours, strict precision, and sustained coordination across generations. Statistical modeling of this effort points to one conclusion: such a project could not be maintained by loosely connected tribes acting as equals. It required centralized authority, leadership capable of planning far beyond a single lifetime. Someone planned this. Someone commanded it. Someone enforced standards and continuity long after the original planners were gone. The stones brought from distant regions may not have symbolized unity. They may have represented obligation, control, tribute, materials extracted, moved, and positioned under direction. This was a society ruled not by visible violence, but by knowledge of sound, of stone, of sky, and of the human mind. The final purpose no one can answer. Stonehenge was engineered to be experienced, to be felt, to influence emotion and perception at scale. Its stones were chosen for function, its layout was deliberate, its acoustics were controlled, its celestial alignment was exact. Artificial intelligence identified the structure. Humans are left to interpret its purpose. Perhaps it amplified natural forces, perhaps it shaped belief, perhaps it prepared people for something recurring, something expected. What remains unsettling is not that ancient people were primitive, it's that they were not. Stonehenge may not be a relic of ignorance, but evidence of a lost understanding that architecture, sound, and timing can move entire populations without a single word spoken. If Stonehenge truly functions as a kind of countdown, marked by sky, stone, and vibration, then the question is no longer what it meant. The question is what it was waiting for, and whether we were ever meant to understand it at all.